What up, everybody? At the beginning of Raising Kanan Season 3, we were first introduced to Snaps and Pop's Henry, retired bank robbers and drug dealers, when Ronnie went to talk to them about borrowing some money so he could get back to work. Snap agreed to front Ronnie the money, which seemed like it was against Pop's better judgment at the time, essentially getting them back in the game. Then they were introduced to Kanan at Ronnie's party, and the four went into business together. Episode 8, we saw Marvin and Rock talking, with Rock telling Marvin that Kanan's doing business with Ronnie, and also that he has something going on with Snaps and Pop. When Marvin replied, "I thought Snaps and Pop were out of the game." But Rock told Marvin that the game has a way of pulling you back in. So Snaps and Pop, who are supposed to be retired, get back in the game, almost looking for problems by doing business with Rock's teenage son out of all people, like she wasn't going to have something to say about that. So from that point, Rock went to talk to Snaps and Pop about Dead and whatever they had going on with Kanan. And when Rock sat down, Pop told her that she remembers when Rock used to jump rope outside of her parents' house with pigtails. And with that said, I got to pause for a second and ask the question, how did Pop know Rock when she was just a little girl jumping rope? So from the sounds of it, most likely Snaps and Pop had some kind of business with Rock's parents, E-Train, and Joyce. Then Rock went on to warn Snaps and Pop for the first time about leaving Kanan alone when she told them that she wasn't jumping rope anymore, meaning she wasn't playing no games, before Snaps and Pop went on to give a whole speech about laying the way and all that. But one thing about the drug game, it's really not at all about what you've done, because there's always somebody looking to take your spot. And at the same time, there's a young kid out there, younger than Kanan, who would pop Snaps just to get some juice. But Rock didn't even blink an eye at all that foolishness and warned Snaps and Pop one final time to stay away from Kanan, saying, "The ones who really matter are the last to leave, the ones who turn out the lights." And like I said, in the game there's always a new generation coming up ready to take over, who doesn't care anything about those who came before them. It's like how Tyrese Halliburton pointed to his wrist in the NBA in-season tournament, letting Dame Lillard know that it was his time now. So Rock may take out Snaps, but Kanan may end up taking out Rock. And we already know that Kanan goes down by getting set up by Tariq. Why? Because that younger generation is always coming for your spot. And I feel like Pop Henry is a lot wiser than Snaps, either though he uses all those big words. Because she straight up told Snaps, "Is our with Ronnie really worth all this?" Keep it in mind, you could tell Pop didn't want to work with Ronnie in the first place. But Snaps said this stopped being about Ronnie the second she came in here trying to tell us what to do. Don't nobody with us. That's that pride talking. And you know what they say, pride comes before the fall. Episode 8, we also saw Rock talk to Terry, the owner of the Chinese food supplies delivery company, about using his trucks to make deliveries to the stores. But Terry demanded the same deal as Hong, which was partnership. But Rock wasn't in a position to offer that to Terry. So later on in the episode, we see that Terry was having an affair with his secretary. And he was set up by Marvin, who took pictures of him and threatened to tell his wife if Terry didn't accept Rock's offer. Now keep in mind how Marvin was able to make this happen. When Terry said to his secretary, "You're working for him?" her reply to Terry was that he pays more than you. This is because most people's loyalty comes with a price and a dollar sign. Because of that truth, I think Rock will do something very similar in order to take out Snaps and Pop. The episode 9 trailer shows Snaps and Pop now have a new crew of soldiers with them prepared for whatever's about to go down in the coming episode. And just like Marvin was able to get Terry's secretary to betray him by offering her more money, I think in the same type of way, Rock will get Snap's soldiers to betray him also. My only question is, will Pop be in on it? Keep in mind that she never wanted to work with Ronnie in the first place. Then after Rock left, she asked Snaps if their business was worth all that, and even called Kanan a good boy while talking to Rock. Also at the club, when both Ronnie and Snaps said F Rock, keep in mind Pop didn't say the same thing. But it was almost like she knew where Rock was coming from and might have even agreed with Rock, but she wasn't going to speak against what her husband was saying in front of someone else. It's like what Vito told Sonny in The Godfather. Never let somebody outside the family know what you're thinking. And Pop is definitely experienced enough to know that. But at the same time, this doesn't mean she agrees with what her husband is doing. So with this said, what Rock has to offer up to Pop might be worth more than her money. It could be her peace, staying out the game, and not getting involved in her husband's foolishness and pride. But at the same time, if Rock were to buy off Pop, then she would also have to give her a financial incentive. And since Pop doesn't want to be in the game, she might even offer up Pop Southside Plaza in exchange for taking out her husband. But with that said, it would be bold for Rock to approach Pop about taking out Snaps. And it would also be hard for Rock to get Pop alone. So most likely, if Rock is able to pay Snap's crew off to take him down, she will just pay off his soldiers and go ahead and smoke both Snaps and Pop. This is almost a similar situation from In Power when Tommy got Milan's crew to betray him so Ghost and Tommy could smoke Milan. Or from Force when Mirkovich paid Nunez to put a bomb in Miguel's car only for his grandmother to get took out instead. But to give a real good example of this type of situation, I gotta give a throwback going over to Empire when Lucius Lyon was in jail with Frank Gathers, who was gonna kill Cookie for snitching. He also went to talk to Lucius, then giving his men the order to go ahead and kill Lucius, only to find out that Lucius went behind his back and paid off all his soldiers. So instead of killing Lucius, they killed Frank at the orders of Lucius. And I think something very similar to this is how Rock is going to be able to take out Snaps. Because when you think about it, she doesn't even have a crew of her own or a way to even get to Snaps in the first place. So her best move is to get his own crew to betray him. And we've also seen Big Meech use this tactic a few times in BMF, either though he doesn't normally have anybody killed behind it. But we saw him get Lamar's crew to turn on him, and he did the same thing in Cleveland, so he is able to set up shop there. And there you have it. Leave your thoughts, theories, and predictions in the comments.